בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח. רבותיי, ראש חודש טוב. The subject of the שיעור ראש חודש. The Torah tells us something very interesting. In Sefer Shmot, in Parashat Bo, in chapter 12, verse 2, the Torah tells us like this. The Torah tells us and reminds us about the Rosh Chodesh. And it says like this. החודש הזה לכם ראש חודשים. ראשון הוא לכם לחודשי השנה. The Torah tells us that here we learn about the first time about Rosh Chodesh. Not only that we have Rosh Chodesh, we have to understand what is Rosh Chodesh. So Rashi HaKadosh on that verse explain. הראהו לבנה בחידושה. Here Rashi said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu show Moshe Rabbeinu how the Levana is the moon, started to get full. ואמר לו, כשהירח מתחדש, when the moon start to get new, that means starting to get full, יהיה לך לראש חודש. That means that when you see the moon starting to get full, we know that that's the beginning of the Jewish months. I especially say Jewish months, and you'll see later why. So we see that from here we learn that something very important, that when the moon start to get full, that's when Rosh Chodesh is. In the olden days, how did they used to decide when is Rosh Chodesh? So until Hillel, the second Hillel, that he constituted the calendar that we have, the Jewish calendar that we have, they used to take witnesses. People that saw the moon used to come to Bet Din, to the Sanhedrin, and Rabbi Ishmael even make a special map with special design, and he used to ask people, is that what you saw, that shape, that angle, until they found out. Once that they found out that that's the right witness, and you needed two, the Bet Din used to declare, the Sanhedrin used to declare that that's Rosh Chodesh, and they used to light fire. Mishikilkelu akutim, when the kutim start to try to confuse the Jewish people, they change it. They accept it. They change all the laws step by steps. Why is it so important, Rosh Chodesh? Rosh Chodesh, Rabotai, without Rosh Chodesh, because that's one of the decree that the Greek put on a Jew. Why did they want to cancel Rosh Chodesh? Without Rosh Chodesh, we have no festivals. We don't know where to start. We don't know where to go. It's going to confuse all our festivals. So we cannot celebrate. One other thing regarding that verse. Rabotai, this is the first mitzvah that Bnei Israel received after they left Egypt. After Bnei Israel left Egypt, after the Exodus, that was the first mitzvah that they received regarding Rosh Chodesh. Yes, Eliyahu?
Two questions.
Two.
First one. Everybody can see the moon. For what you need to witness and you wait. Like the moon is in the sky. The second thing, Rosh Chodesh הזה, Rosh Chodeshim, is not only Rosh Chodesh Iyar.
No, it's Rosh Chodesh.
Nisan, sorry.
Nisan.
So why are you come for every Rosh Chodesh?
Oh, because to tell you that the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, it's a very good question. Our first, sorry? You didn't understand. Eliyahu asked, isn't that verse referring to Rosh Chodesh Nisan? It is referring to Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Why? Because it says, Rishonu lachem. Lehavdil. The Jewish calendar have the first month. The first month in our calendar is Nisan. The same like the Gentile have January. December in a Jewish calendar is Adar. So it does refer to that. But it tells you there that that's the first time that Bnei Israel heard about Rosh Chodesh. Before that, they didn't hear.
But how you learn to celebrate from this pasuk?
Oh, how do you know how to celebrate? So even, why did they used to take witnesses? Why is it so important? Because Hazal tell us, Al pi shnayim yakum davar. You need two witnesses.
Everybody see the moon.
Nachon? But not everyone see it clearly. It has to look clearly. Sometimes people think that they saw it,
What do you
Because
mean?
the
Now
months...
everybody go out, everybody see the same, no?
Rega. We have 29 days,
Or 28.
29 days, and certain and a half, or 3/4, 29 and 3/4 days, and certain halakim for a month. Now you have to understand, if someone come earlier or someone come later, it's changed everything. Then it's not on time, the Rosh Chodesh. It's not exactly on a time. So but the Beit Din have to check that witness and come and say, I saw in the sky the beginning of the moon, that he witnessing exactly the right angle.
So you see the beginning, not the end of the moon.
No, the beginning. Listen what Rashi say.
חידושה של לבנה.
לבנה בחידושה. What does it mean בחידושה? When she start. When the לבנה is starting.
What is this? Is full or like...
No, just a small line. Just a small line. Yes.
What is the time difference between the witnesses reporting the moon, new moon, and the time that takes them to verify that it's...
On the spot he verified. They usually verified on the spot, but although the Gemara tell us certain times that they let them sleep because they wanted to check that they're Idei Emet. Because sometimes there was Idei Sheker.
How do they declare when Rosh Chodesh is?
That's it. When they found that it's true, that these two witnesses that witnessed regarding the Levana, that it's the beginning of the month, the Sanhedrin, the Beit Din declare it's Rosh Chodesh, and they start.
From the time they saw it or
From the time that they declare. But they have to be in certain time, obviously. It can't be that they come a week later or a week earlier.
come on time.
That's it. They have to come on time.
They doubt that whether they saw it or not, they do. Assume they took a date to work out that...
No, you can't do that. Because there is certain time, so then everything change. You clever. Then all the Rosh Chodesh.
How long did it take the witnesses to get to where they have to report it?
They have to be in Yerushalayim.
Like his question.
Yes, but they can't be, let's say, in Afula in the north or in Elat in the south. And if they have to walk, how long will it take them? If he's a good walker, then they can walk quick. Sorry, Harry.
But I learned that they to tell people at Rosh Chodesh, which is a far distance away, they're even allowed to go there on Shabbos.
No, that you're saying lishloach shlichim. It's two different things. He asked a different question. You telling that I'm going to send a messenger to tell everyone that it's Rosh Chodesh from city to city.
Yeah.
Am I right? No, he asking something
No, but
else
you didn't
completely.
answer about this question also.
So what I'm saying is that it have to be on time.
What is on time? Because if the people come and you said it's a different time, it can be changed. So when are they going to come? One day before?
If you come, first of all, if you come a day before, you couldn't see. If you come and witness what you saw yesterday, they can say, okay, that means that tomorrow will be Rosh Chodesh.
So maybe,
That's they can do.
Maybe let's assume maybe they
That's
come
they
one
can
day
do.
before.
That's they can do. But to come and say, I saw the Levana b'milu'ah, exactly like she's supposed to be, I saw it 3 days ago,
So the Rosh Chodesh is past.
it wouldn't work.
Rabbi, everybody makes a mistake about one thing. The Jews have known about astronomy long before anybody else. They were
Nachon,
studying the
nachon.
stars. And the calendar is a lunar solar calendar. Rabbi, am I correct?
Yeah.
It's a lunar solar calendar.
Yeah.
The sun also is rising and it affects the moon. So a lot of people don't realize that the Jews were very good at astronomy.
Yeah, for sure. Until Rabbi Ishmael say, Nir'im li shve'e derki'ah, Rabbi Ishmael say, that I know how is all the stars
That's correct.
and all the, what do you call it, the pathway up in a galaxy, keshvilen Nehar Da'ah, because he used to live in Nehar Da'ah. Nehar Da'ah was a city in Babylon. So he said that he knows. Yes, Yui.
If it's cloudy and they can't see the moon, it's very cloudy.
If they're cloudy and they can't see the moon, that's a big problem. And
So,
Hazal speak
no
about
Rosh
it. You cannot say that you see. You can't.
So there's no Rosh Chodesh.
There is Rosh Chodesh.
They know
Sometimes
this-
there's two.
They know the calendar.
The
They've
point
already
is that
established
if
the calendar.
if the witnesses don't come on the 29th day, then Rosh Chodesh has to be on the 30th day.
That's it.
It can't be longer than the 30th. It can only be
29, 3/4, and a certain halakim. That's what I'm saying.
On the 29th day or the 30th day, so then they can declare it on the 30th
When
day.
did they declare it? They declare it at night. That the night is the beginning of Rosh Chodesh.
I got another question, sorry.
We're not going to finish
No,
the
no,
show.
no, don't
Okay.
worry, don't worry.
Okay.
We see the moon here in South Africa in different way. But in Antarctica, they see it in another way.
No.
So,
But
Also,
מה הקשר?
מה הקשר?
They're witnessing in Eretz Israel. Leave now.
so when they celebrate in Antarctica or in Australia, let's say.
Today,
Rosh
Baruch
Chodesh-
Hashem,
No, okay, but we're talking about the other time.
at the time we didn't have Jews all over. The
Who
Jews
said-
was where there was. יהודים היו בישראל. אחרי החורבן הבית, איפה היו?
לבבלון.
בבלון. זה הכל. לא היו בכל העולם. Let's continue. Now, we have to understand, we have 2 days, sometimes that we have 2 days of Rosh Chodesh, like this month, and sometimes we have 1 day of Rosh Chodesh. What's happening? So to understand that, Hazal explained like this. Hazal explained that in a Jewish calendar, Rabotai, we have maximum, and we call it Chodesh Maleh, that means a full moon, a full month of 30 days. I know that in a circular calendar we have full months, that's 31 days. Gavin, you with me? Because you look at me like, if you didn't understand, stop me, because that's very important. So if we have in a Jewish calendar 30 days, we celebrate 2 days. What it means 2 days? We take the Lamed, the last day of the month, and the Aleph, the new day of the month, and we celebrate it as Rosh Chodesh. Then we have 2. But if we have in a Jewish calendar 29 days, we celebrate only 1 day. And that's the Aleph.
Can you explain
Aleph.
again?
I'll explain in Hebrew, so you'll
No,
understand.
I want to understand in English, okay?
Okay, in English. If we have 30 days,
Like Lamed.
Lamed, and a month,
In our calendar.
our calendar. If we have 30 days, Lamed, we take the Lamed, and we take the Aleph of the new month, and we celebrate 2. But if we have 29 days, we don't take the Kaftet, we take only the Aleph.
So the one is connected to each other is going to be
That's
30
it.
days full.
That's it. And how does it work? That we have 12 months a year, נכון? So we celebrate Rosh Chodesh how many times a year?
12 months.
12? Everyone agree?
No. But
Huh? No, I agree.
how many times Rosh Chodesh? 11 months.
11. Let's see. How can it be 11 months?
Because Rosh Hashanah is not Rosh Chodesh.
Okay, but how many times technical?
How many times? 15.
18. 18.
I'm close.
Why 18? Because sometimes we have 30, Lamed, that it's 30, and sometimes we have Kaftet, that it's 29. So we have 18 days of Rosh Chodesh. So now I want to move on. Hazal tell us in the Torah, in Sefer Bamidbar, in Parashat Be'alotcha, that means 2 weeks ago, we read about Be'alotcha et hanerot. In chapter 10, verse 10, the Torah tells us something very interesting. Hu beyom simchatchem. We say it in a kiddush usually. Hu b'mo'adechem, hu b'rashei chodshechem, utka'atem b'chatzotzrot al olotechem. What does it mean? From here, Hazal tell us that we're learning something very important. That Rosh Chodesh have the same kedusha as Moed. So what's the difference between Rosh Chodesh and Moed? What's the difference between them? The only difference is that in a Moed, we're not allowed to do melacha. But in Rosh Chodesh, we're allowed to do melacha. And Hazal tell us in 3 different marot, actually more. I'm going to quote only 3, and I'm going to explain how do we learn that Rosh Chodesh have the same holiness as a Moed. Hazal in Masechet Psachim, in page Ein Zayin Amud Aleph, that means 77, folio 1, tell us like this. Hazal explaining that on Rosh Chodesh, we bring in Korban Musaf. Nachon? When it was Rosh Chodesh, we say in a Musaf, Sa'ir Hatat. In the Moed, we bring also a Korban when Bet HaMikdash was exist.
Ola.
Nachon? So if we bring a Korban, we see that Rosh Chodesh and the Moed, we have Korban. Extra Korban.
But it's the same name.
We'll see. No.
Or is
We'll
it-
see now.
it's Ola,
We'll see
it's-
now. But today that we don't have Bet HaMikdash, we have a Musaf. And that's why we take in the Tefillin. Because whenever we have a Musaf day, we take the Tefillin off. Why? Because Musaf is a Ot, and the Brit is a Ot. But on a day that we don't have Musaf, we have Tefillin. Let's continue. Abaye say also in Gemara, Masechet Shavuot, page 10, folio 1, he said that actually Rosh Chodesh been called the Moed. That's Abaye say in the Gemara. That from here we see that the Moed, it's actually Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is a Moed.
So why
So-
not make any Kiddush?
Sorry, we'll see now. We'll see now. Because what did we say? That you don't do Melacha.
Melacha, yes, so why don't we make any
So
Kiddush
if
היום?
you don't do, but we don't do Kiddush on Moed.
Excuse me?
On a Moed you do, Chol HaMoed you do Kiddush.
No, no Moed, no Chol HaMoed, you say. It's a
Okay,
Moed.
okay,
We
no,
make any Kiddush.
But the difference is that in a Moed what? You
זה
don't do
פסח,
מלאכה.
3 רגלים it's a Moed.
רגע, אבל אתה לא עושה מלאכה, נכון? במועד we not doing מלאכה.
Okay, but if it's the same,
But if you
it's the
don't do
same.
melacha, then you can say a kiddush. When you do a melacha, how are you going to sanctify the day? On what? You're doing melacha. There's
But
nothing to
it's a Moed,
sanctify.
it's like Moed, it's Rosh Chodesh, this is what
כן,
it's
אבל
saying.
אתה לא יכול לקדש את היום אם אתה עובד בו, אם אתה עושה מלאכה.
So why are we working? We need to holiday, public
So,
holiday.
no.
Wants to change the rules after thousands of years.
Eli. Okay. So the Gemara in Masechet Arachim tell us, no public holiday. The Gemara in Masechet Arachim tell us, in a day that you do melacha, okay, that's Rosh Chodesh, because they allow it. In a moed that we don't do melacha, then we can sanctify the day. Okay, now I want to equivalent. Now we'll do a bit equivalent one to each other. In Rosh Chodesh, as you saw this morning, that we have 4 olim to the Torah. 4 people go up to the Torah. And a Moed, also 4 people. Nachon? Hol HaMoed, we see that 4 people going up to the Torah. Now we're going to start with the Tefillah of Rosh Chodesh. In Amidah of Rosh Chodesh, we have to add up and to insert Ya'aleh ve'yavo. Also in Birkat HaMazon. Okay, Rosh Chodesh, we don't say and we don't mention anything regarding Tahanun and we don't do any Ta'anit. That means a person not allowed to fast on Rosh Chodesh. Not only that, we have to understand something very important. That in the morning, after we daven, what's happening there? We say Hallel, nachon? Eliyahu, you say Hallel today, nachon? After Hallel, what we do? We take the Sefer Torah, nachon? After we take the Sefer Torah, we read, then we take it back. After we take the Sefer Torah back and we finish,
You say Kaddish, you take it tefillin out.
you finish Uba Letzion, nachon? We take the tefillin off and we insert the tefillah of Musaf le Rosh Chodesh. But what's happened if Rosh Chodesh fall on Shabbat? Here become a different. There is a different in tefillah. We say Ata Yetzarta. If Shabbat fall on Rosh Chodesh, we're changing the text and we say Ata Yetzarta. Okay. Not only that, that if Shabbat fall, if Rosh Chodesh fall on Shabbat, that's the right word to say. the 7 aliyah, what is the 7 aliyah?
שביעי הוא משלים.
שביעי, that we call it the מפטיר. זה ההפטרה, נכון? הוא מפטיר, למה לא? כן.
שביעי והוא משלים.
After that, sorry, but that's the שביעי, הוא עושה את המפטיר, and then we read in,
another book.
נכון? איזה בוק?
פנחס.
פנחס. צב את בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, נכון? So we read a different parsha. But here come also the Haftarah is different. It's not the Haftarah of the week. We read in the book of Yeshaya. In the book of Yeshaya, in chapter 66, verse 1 to 24, that's the Haftarah. Why do we read Dafka this Haftarah? What's so important about it?
It's mentioned over Rosh.
Because in the end of the parsha, it's mentioned two things. It's mentioned Shabbat, and it's mentioned Rosh Chodesh. So we see from here that even the reading of Rosh Chodesh, even if it's fall on Shabbat, it's different. Not only during the week. Okay?
Can I have a question?
Sure.
Sorry, Also in Barechi Nafshi, in the chapter of the Teilin, it's mentioned of Rosh Chodesh.
נכון.
Since I pray here, I didn't see, nobody said this.
Okay, so the custom, so you understand what he's asking? There is a custom that usually when we start the Rosh Chodesh, in Mariv, when is Rosh Chodesh start? In the evening.
Even Shacharit.
רגע, נתחיל מההתחלה, לא? So we say, ברכי נפשי. It's a poem from Sefer Tehillim. So there is a custom that certain congregations say it, and also in Tfilat Shacharit in the morning. Say, ברכי נפשי.
After you finish Musaf.
נכון.
Even in this book, there is...
נכון, but a certain congregation doesn't say.
Why?
I don't know. Ask them. There's certain minhagim. I don't know. Now I'm going to speak about minhaging and law. There is a minhag that on Rosh Chodesh we should dress very nicely, like we dress for Shabbat and Yom Tov. We should make a special seudah on Rosh Chodesh also. Now I'm going to speak to the woman. Brian, after Glenda going to hear that, don't come to me, don't shoot me. There is a custom, listen to that ladies, that on Rosh Chodesh, women should not do any melacha, should not work. Where does that minhag come from? Given you're happy, huh? So where does that custom come that women should not do melacha on Rosh Chodesh?
In South Africa all the year.
All year. So in Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer been written by Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol. And he said that that custom, that women should not do melacha on Rosh Chodesh, where does it come from? He said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu merit the woman. What was their merit? When Am Yisrael, not Bnei Israel, I'll say Am Yisrael. There's a big difference. I explained the difference between Bnei and Am. When Am Yisrael sinned in the golden calf, what was the sin? That they created the golden calf. But what happened before? Everyone gone around to collect gold, to create the gold, nachon? To throw it to the fire. When they come to the woman say, we're not giving nothing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, you wasn't part of that. You're not going to be, your merit is that on Rosh Chodesh you don't have to work. The Zohar say, listen to that, the Zohar say that, not only that, that they merited that before the Mashiach come, they're going to be the one to press the button at home. When they said to the husband, come home, how quick? When they said to jump, the husband asked, how high? That's why we see that today, in this generation, the women are in control. They merited because they didn't give the gold for the golden calf.
What's the relationship between the Rosh Chodesh and the woman not working? What is it?
Because all year, you must understand, in the olden days, the husband used to work in a field. The house was for the woman. To clean, to look after the kids, to bake, to cook. In Rosh Chodesh, they give her menuha, a time to rest. that everything else, the husband will appreciate what they're doing at home. Because quite often, and I'm speaking for myself, you all tzaddikim, speaking to myself, sometimes I don't appreciate my wife enough for what she do. And we take it for granted. And all the hard work, we have to understand that. Let's continue. Rabbi Yehuda Hasid, we explained last week that he came from Germany, he lived in the 12th century, and he said like this, in his will, he said, Tzvaat Yehuda Hasid, that there is a custom that in Rosh Chodesh, we do not have a haircut, and we should not cut the nails. And that's brought in a Mishnah Brura by the Magen Avraham. In Siman Resh Samech, that means 260. Siman Katan Zayin, that means, let's call it Siman, chapter 260, Siman Katan Seva, law number 7. There he brought that that's the custom. Ado, the Sfaradim doesn't follow that. And I saw Psak Halacha of the Maran, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, Zecher Tzadik Vekadosh Libracha, that he said that the Sfaradim are allowed to have a haircut on Rosh Chodesh, and they can cut their nails. So we see here different mitagim between the Sfaradim and the Ashkenazim. Yes, who asking? Sorry? Only a minhag. You're right, definitely. I said, yes. Are you going back? Yes.
Yeah, I have to have a haircut on the second day. I'm not sure that's a minhag or somebody made it up.
It's a minhag.
But on the second day, can have a haircut. You should cut your nails. Let me explain to you. Remember we done a shiur about nails, and we said that preferably to cut the nails on Friday in honor of Shabbat. So to cut the nails and to have a haircut, you should do it in honor of Shabbat on a Friday, before midday. Okay, let's continue. Rosh Chodesh is a time of atonement. Where do we see it? First of all, we say it in a Musaf. Zman kapara lechol toldotam. That means, in the time that Beit HaMikdash was exist, we used to bring korban sa'ir hatat. There is different korbanot. There is korban hatat. There is korban hasham. Korban olah.
5.
Every day. There's all different korbanot. But on Rosh Chodesh was certain korban, Seir Hatat. And that korban was to do atonement for Bnei Israel for all the months. So we see from here that Rosh Chodesh is a time of atonement. But now I'm going to move on and I'm going to explain something very important. When we say Hallel, and here you have to understand, when you say Hallel in Rosh Chodesh, there is different minhagim. The custom of the Sfaradim not to say a bracha on Rosh Chodesh. Ashkenazim, they all say a bracha, but they both say, the Sfaradim and the Ashkenazim, Hallel bedilug. What it means Hallel bedilug? A skipping Hallel. That's how you call it? That you skip certain part of the Hallel. You follow? So we see from here that when it's come to Hallel, there is different opinion. The Sfaradim hold that you don't say the brocha. You immediately start, hallelujah. Ashkenazim say brocha on the front. Now I'm going to go to the word of Rosh Chodesh. The word Chodesh comes milshon hidush. What it means hidush? Renewing. The Mefarshim explain that Rosh Chodesh is the right time that we should expect that we're going to have a redemption. That's mean that the same like the moon get renewed, we're hoping that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have mercy on us and compassion, and He going to redeem us. And then the Mashiach will come, please God, speedily in our days. Any question? No. So we're going to say Kaddish, and Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit to see Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mera b'yameinu amen ken yeh ratzon.